Here we go, our last example. So this example, we're actually going to work backwards. So we are going to take all the things that we graph and use this graph to list what those things are going to be. So I notice I've got two x-intercepts. I have one at -2, and it looks like that one is odd. It crosses through. And I have one at 3, which is also odd. It crosses through. Next, I've got a y-intercept here at -2. Next, I have a vertical asymptote at -1, and it looks like it's odd. It points opposite directions. And I have a vertical asymptote at 2, and it's even because it points the same directions. And then for my end behavior, it looks like both ends of this graph are pointing towards 0. They're getting closer and closer to 0. So I need to create an equation that has all of these things. So first thing I'm going to start with, I know that x-intercepts go in the numerator. If -2 is my x-intercept, then I know x plus 2 will be my numerator. And it's odd, so I'm going to do it to the first power. If 3 is my x-intercept, then I know x minus 3 is my factor, and it's odd, so to the first power. Next, I know my vertical asymptotes come from the denominator. So if I have a vertical asymptote at -1, that's going to be x plus 1, and it's odd to the first power. And I have one at 2, so x minus 2, and this one's even, so I'm going to square it. So I've got a pretty decent equation right here. So what I'm going to do next is check the end behavior. So if I check the end behavior of what I've got, this is in factored form, so that's where I'm going to do just like we did in the last video. Get rid of the small stuff, keep the leading terms, and multiply what we have left. So get rid of the 2, the -3, the 1, and the -2, and see what I have left. So x times x is x squared. X times x squared is x cubed. So this is a degree 2 on top and a degree 3 on bottom, which is bottom heavy, so it would be an end behavior of 0. So check. End behavior matches. The last thing I need to make sure to match is my y-intercept. Now your y-intercept might change your leading coefficients that go in front. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a giant question mark, and then we're going to do what our y-intercepts are. Our y-intercepts, you plug 0 in. So I'm going to have 0 plus 2, 0 minus 3, 0 plus 1, and 0 minus 2 squared. And I know that plugging in a 0 should equal my y-intercept of -2. And I'm going to go through this and solve for that question mark, the number that should go out in front. So I have question mark, 0 plus 2 is 2, 0 minus 3 is -3. Don't forget those are multiplying parentheses. 0 plus 1 is 1, 0 minus 2 is -2, squared is 4. And this should equal -2. So I have 2 times -3 is -6, over 1 times 4 is -2. That's actually a -3/2 if I simplify it. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of this, so -2/3. Because then I have 2 on top and bottom, 3 on top and bottom, it'll cancel out. So multiply by a -2/3, and I get that my question mark should be -4/3. So I can come up here to my equation and put a -4/3 in front. You can just put the 4 on your numerator and the 3 on your denominator. And if you were to graph this equation, that would give you this graph. So that is an example of how you work backwards. You are all ready to get started on your homework.